James, listening from Winter Haven, Florida. And yeah, back in 2022, I felt the Lord prompting my heart to start basically a podcast on YouTube. And around the same time, I found your channel. Then I took your class.
Okay.
I forget what it's called. YouTube. How do you
Master
master?
YouTube Live. Yeah. We still have
Yeah,
some of
yeah.
that stuff up. Yep.
I feel like I've learned a lot from your channel, but basically, I'm not trying to like self promote myself here, but basically, it's called Thrive and Dive, thriving in life as we dive into deeper conversations. And I'm trying to find a manageable way of putting out 2 episodes a week, and that's kind of my layout. I don't really do live stream; I just do editing and then posting videos. And I was wondering if you have any suggestions on things I should do to see the channel have a bigger reach.
Yeah. So I think the basics of any YouTube is going to be caring about what other people care about, and then frequency of content in order for you to get the reps and in order to try and trigger the algorithm. So those are the two things I would be looking at. Two episodes a week is great. How would you do that? I would say you'd make it a system for yourself to make as much of the videos as possible that allows you to get better and also allows you to release more stuff, more videos, more interest-based stuff on what people care about, right? And so I would do live. Doesn't have to be literally live. Like, I'm not literally live on YouTube, but the majority of this video is made basically within one take that then I just have different segments in. So that's how I would approach it. Is like, how much can you get done with one long take instead of separating it and jumping across and editing and dropping it in a Final Cut and doing this and doing that. Like, all of that creates more and more friction for you. So when I was a solo creator, I was going live for the sake of efficiency. Like, I wanted to do more and get more reps in than to actually try and be fancy and make some beautiful piece of art. Because when you're just getting it off the ground, you need the reps, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
By the way, if you're not partnering on Patreon, you really should consider $6.99 a month. I try to open up these lines every single day to take your guys' call. All right, let's jump into these.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So I'm just wondering, when you have goals that are kind of set ahead of you and stuff like that, when you're trying to tackle them, I think sometimes a lot of doubt and whatnot can kind of creep in, and maybe wondering like, am I doing the right thing for the right reasons? All that kind of stuff, and it can kind of create barriers and whatnot. That's kind of something, and I know obviously I read a book on godly ambition, stuff like that. But question being, just kind of more poignant, would just be like, how do you like overcome those sorts of roadblocks? How do you like navigate trying to like overcome those questions and stuff like that? And yeah, that's basically what I got for you. Yeah, it's kind of
and this isn't a gotcha question, but did you get a chance to listen to any of Godly Ambition or read any of the book?
Yeah, not yet at this point.
Okay.
No, sir. But I'm planning on purchasing the book here in the near future.
Okay, good. I do talk about it in depth on the book, but there's a proverb that I'll read to you real quick, and then and I'll hopefully give you a more thoughtful question. I mean, a hopeful thoughtful answer to your question. So Proverbs chapter 16 verse 2. We just covered this as a daily proverb. It says, "All a person's ways seem pure to them, but motives are weighed by the Lord. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans." So I think that the issue of motives is interesting, right? Because it's like, how do you know if your motives are pure? Proverbs seems to imply that we could be self-deceived, and it's ultimately God that knows the heart, and he weighs the motives. Now, the action step in this, I think, is in verse 3, which is commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. And so for me, I think whether or not motives are true or not true or any of that sort of stuff, the issue with that is you don't always know your own heart, and sometimes we can have conflicting motives. So the question is, the answer isn't analysis of paralysis and let me just not do anything. The answer is, hey, let me commit to God, whatever it is I'm doing. Let me commit to God, whatever you do. And then in that, the Lord will ultimately establish those things, right? It's like praying like it all depends on the Lord and then working like it all depends on God. I think that's the uncomfortable part for many people, is that it's easier to just not do anything, right? And the reality is, man, you could do good things with wrong motives. You could make mistakes with good motives, but if you're not putting one foot in front of the next every single day, you're going to be in a worse off spot than at least attempting and failing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So I think my advice, and I get into this in the book, is like, hey, find an anchor point of what are the things that are in front of you right now that you can be faithful towards, and know that incremental investments lead to monumental advancements. Little simple commitments every single day compound and snowball over time. And this is true with anything. This is true with learning a new instrument, learning a new language, saving, investing, getting out of debt, developing a new skill. It's those little everyday commitments, usually 20 to 30 minutes of commitment every single day, that then compound over time. And so instead of like having analysis paralysis and searching your own heart and being in this cognitive dissonance of like, is it my heart or is it God's heart? I don't know. What am I supposed to do? It's like, hey, saying, hey, Lord, I'm going to submit this to you, and I'm going to do the inputs. And if it's in your will for me to do this thing, I'm going to ask you to produce the outcomes. Is that helpful?
Yes, sir. Yeah, 100%. Okay. Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, brother. Hopefully I see you March 21st, man. I'm going to let you go get some more calls in.
I am ecstatic to announce that I will be going on tour this spring for the Godly Ambition Tour. We are speaking directly into some of the apathy, some of the nihilism, some of the struggles that we see Christians dealing with, and how godly ambition is the rocket fuel to all of it. So tickets are on sale now. Go to RuslanKD.com. Get your tickets now, as they will be likely to sell out, and we're coming to a city near you. The tour starts in Houston, Texas, at the legendary House of Blues venue. If you read Godly Ambition, you know why that venue is significant to me. Then we're going over to Dallas. After that, we're hitting Chicago, Pittsburgh. Then we have Arlington, Virginia, the DC area, as well as the Sony Music Hall in New York City. Then we're going to be in Clearwater, Florida, which is there in the Tampa, St. Pete area, as well as Atlanta, Georgia, and of course, Los Angeles, California. So go to RuslanKD.com. Get your tickets before they sell out. We're going to be having a night where we come together. I'll be doing a live podcast, answering some of your guys' questions, as well as sprinkling in a little bit of new music and casting the vision on what godly ambition is all about. So get a ticket for your friend, bring your family. We're going to have some live worship and have a time to come together and reflect on how to steward our time, talent, and treasure for God's glory. I can't wait to see you. I'll see you this spring. Peace.